So we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. And we'll start with citizen documents if we have any. Yes. Our alderman, how are you for the 8th Ward?
I'm here as a member of the regional.
So everyone, good evening. My name is Anne Rainey. I live at 1209 Home Terrace. I've lived in the Ridgeville Park District since, this is what I'm going to come to the city council. I've lived in the Ridgeville Park District since
1977. Anyway, I'm here today because I usually only come when I'm telling you what the city has done and partnerships we've made with the Ridgeville Park District. But I'm coming here tonight in a manner in which the people come to City Hall and that is to complain. And I keep doing it, but I just couldn't stay home. I saw the Jim Crow, Dan Coyne, Rod Baby video on Facebook, where people were accused of being racist, where the Ridgeville Park District was accused of being racist, where the Ridgeville Park District was accused for the last 6 years of doing absolutely nothing for the people in the Ridgeville District. And I thought, how curious. Two people, Dan and Rob, who were members of the Ridgeville Park District Board, who in fact, along with Ann Cavode, created a majority of the Park District Board. And they were complaining about doing nothing having been done in this district. And I'm thinking, wow, that is not a real good indication of your leadership. If you couldn't get things done, then most of the time you had 3 votes. That doesn't speak very well.
So I want to pick out
In the video that concern you the most. And reflects on why you have to be careful what you say when you're speaking to a large crowd of people that Facebook offers you a really good audience. One of the things you talked about was using the basketball court at River Place, at River Park. You said you lost that because the condo, the building next to it, to the west of it, was a rental that went condo. You all tried to buy it as River Place Development, but you lost it probably to a higher bidder. And that of course led to the beginning of the gentrification of the neighborhood. Well, let me just tell you, I did a really brief study of the neighborhood since that time. The adorable little 2 flats to the east of that location are still there. They look great. Your 2 buildings to the west of the condominium are still there. There is absolutely nothing that reflects gentrification because of the conversion of that building in that neighborhood. Not one thing. The neighborhood looks just as nice as it looked then. The only difference is there's not a double hoop basketball court. The reason that that hoop was taken down is not because of racism on this board. It was because the neighbors complained and complained and complained and complained because they couldn't take it anymore. That's why that hoop was removed. That's why. Let me move on. I don't want to dwell on that. One of the things that Rod mentioned also was that he came to me years ago and said, Ann, what do you know about the Ridgeville Park District? And Ann said, geez, I don't really know anything. To this day, I really don't know how you guys operate. So if somebody came to me today and said, Ann, could you explain to me how much, I would say, George, Sarah, I really don't understand how we operate. So Dee and Dan are talking to this woman who's videotaping them. And He said, so then I decided, then she said, go right ahead and run that. And he said, so I did. So then he says, and then I find out that she has given money to renovate Rummel Park. And so I guess she really didn't. And, well, let me just tell you, to this day, I don't know how Ridgeville works. So that was a true story. I didn't mislead you. However, then and now, I do know one thing. I know about capital improvements. I know how to fund them. I know when they're deteriorating. So that's what that was all about. I love Rummel Park. It's my favorite, but that's my favorite park. It's not a city park. It's a digital park. I love that little park. And I saw that things were not so good, got together with Brian, and we did a complete renovation of that park, remember? I mean, it took a long time, neighbors were all involved, we planned it out. And then later, we also did a refurbishing of the top lot over there, the top area. And we had catalogs, and people met, and they picked out this and that. And so I know about that kind of thing, and I will continue to do that kind of thing. There's nothing I wouldn't do for Ridgeville Park District. But, you know, those kind of little innuendos, they're not necessary. And they're beneath you to go on public TV and say that kind of nonsense. You don't have to do it. I am going to challenge anybody who is running for the Ridgeville Park Board. Oh, one other thing. Porta potties. Not wanting porta potties. This is a big issue on this video. Any black person who wants a porta potty in their backyard, they're stupid. Nobody wants a porta potty in their backyard. I don't want a porta potty. You don't want a porta potty. You don't want a porta potty. Nobody wants a porta potty. I challenge you, the new members of the board, put a referendum on the November ballot. $8 to $10 a month is chicken feed. We need to be paying more for Ridgeville. We deserve more than porta potties. We deserve something in those equipment boxes. We don't deserve equipment boxes. We need something next to the new bathrooms that we're going to build with the money, the people who put their big boy and big girl pants on with a referendum. We're going to build some bathrooms and some storage areas, and we're going to have real bathrooms and real storage facilities to put new equipment in. You've been sitting around on your big boy butts for 6 years. You've done nothing. You admitted it. You can do more than bring pizza to the park. Pizzas to the park don't get you bathrooms. They don't get you equipment. They don't get you programs. Shame on you. You need to apologize to everybody in Ridgeville for that disgusting, low-life video. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any, are there any other citizen comments? And Alderman Rainey, did you sign in?
I sure did.
Thank you. Just checking. Are there any other comments?
My name is Tim Strong. I'm a constituent here at Ridgeville. I've served on 2 boards, was appointed by Mayor Tisdale to DARS Council. Just recently, Mayor Haggerty appointed me to the Affordable Housing Steering Committee. So I've served on boards, and I just want to say Dan Coyne has no reason to be on a board. He doesn't have the temperament, judgment, skill. He was never appointed to any board, didn't have an opponent in his race, and I want to say that.
Thank you. Any other citizen comments? And you did sign in, sir?
Everybody signed
Okay,
up.
I'm just checking.
I know, she took it around.
Okay.
Julie took it around.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are there any other citizen comments?
I'd like to ask a question, just for clarification or something. I thought we agreed that when the District was filming the meeting, Dan would not be, and I'm wondering why all of a sudden this thing is here again.
That's a fair question. Is it okay, President or Chair, if we can answer that? It's off agenda, but, yeah, sure. Thank you, Commissioner Braun. I have a hearing impairment, as you know, and it's very hard to hear you and Commissioner McCord especially. And I just found that trying to hear later through our web page, Facebook page, I can't quite hear what you guys are saying. I lose about 50% of it. So I found that if I use this, for some reason my device seems to be louder. But that said, perhaps maybe as we look forward in the next 6 years, we could come up with some kind of an amplification system for hearing impaired people like me, so that everybody can hear the voice 100% of everyone who speaks. And I do know, the little bit of research that I've done, is that there are some pretty low-cost systems available. For example, our executive director is using one now with his ears, and that helps. And maybe there would be something we could use that
Maybe
could
you could get one of those.
I'm sorry, I'm answering your question. Perhaps we could come up with a very low-cost system that allows people to hear every voice so that everyone understands what's being done. That's why.
Okay, I would trust, Dan, that you do not put it on YouTube and cut parts out and make comments on it.
If I
And
can't...
another thing I want to say is, apparently you're the only other person that can't hear. You could get earphones like Brian.
Well, I appreciate it, but as a hearing impaired person, I hope you don't speak for us. But I would like to answer your question. And, you know, basically it is very important for us to be able to hear each other. And I think that as we move forward, especially if we end up with a board that can collaborate and work with this polarity, that I think we actually could come up with a system that's low cost, that we can hear each other.
Okay, let's move on to approval of last month's minutes.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
All right?
Aye.
Let's move on to approval of bills.
Looking for my bills. Sorry about that. I'll go over the unusuals. ADP is large, but it was 3 payrolls plus W-2s, so it's much higher than normal. Chicago Tribune Media Group is the postings for the bid packages, which you will discuss later. Taryn Dorr is a check replacement. Adrian Fior is a refund. Nicole Holman paid twice, so we're refunding her her other payment. As we go down, Tracy Pitlosh is a refund times 2 kids and a 5 to 7-year-old day camp. Russo Power Equipment is high because we had to buy another pallet of salt, all the ice in late January, February, and our spreader broke, so we had to buy another one of those. Sunrise Tree is the trees we took down at the Elks Park garden plot on the east end, so the garden is not so shady. They weren't trees, they were weed trees, trees of heaven. We left the real trees there. And then Total Promotions is a tablecloth dressing for when we go to Youth Job Fair or Evanston, or our farmers market. It's a Ridgeville logo. It's a beautiful thing. Will be seen right away. And that's basically it on the unusuals. Wanda Walker's a refund on the bottom.
I move that we accept the Ridgeville Park District Corporate Monthly Bills Report Summary dated March 14, 2019 for the amount of $18,689.89.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Petty cash?
Petty cash, Illinois Association of Park Districts. We bought the latest Park District Code Book, 2019-2020 edition. Neopost was stamps for the stamp machine, Office Max, paper. U.S. Post Office was real stamps before the stamp machine got fixed. And Walmart was art supplies for our District 65 half-day Wednesday program.
I move that we accept the Ridgeville Park District monthly report, petty cash, number 6417, dated March 7, 2019, for the amount of $382.19.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now let's move on to monthly reports. Brian, you want to start?
Sure.
Thank you.
Bid packages for Lighter Park Play Circuit, 908 Seward roof are were out to bid when I wrote this. They are back. You'll discuss that later. Both items are on the agenda. Lighter Park Play equipment is due to arrive April 1st, the week of April 1st. Both projects, the roof and Lighter Park Play Circuit, have a completion date of May 17th, 2019. Lighter Park's old play equipment is removed. We damaged the park a little bit because it got warm quick, which will be repaired not only by Ridgeville, but the contractor whose trucks made the marks in the park. Summer camp registration is very strong. Natalie has started our interview process, and she will be attending the Mayor's Summer Employment Fair on March 16th at Evanston High School. Full-time staff, and Jessica Parr will become CPR, AED, and EpiPen certified in April. We will also certify the part-time staff in late May at our annual orientation meeting for summer staff. Our maintenance crew began park cleanup this week. They'll keep it going as long as weather permits. It's really wet and mushy out there now, so we can't get vehicles on. The winter hang on longer, so we're slightly behind schedule. Park District maintenance equipment's ready to go when spring does arrive. We will make sure we get everything caught up. Natalie will update you on our spring classes and program registrations, but both are very, very strong. I will be out of town, not April 5th, but April 4th through April 7th, going to Washington, D.C. It's not on my board report, but AYSO will be in our parks for the young kids to play soccer, the young groups, for 6 weeks till June 2nd or 3rd, whatever that Sunday is. That's it.
Mr. Chair, may I ask a question?
Yes.
Thank you, Brian. Do you have any idea of a date certain or approximation of when all of our summer staff hiring decisions will be made?
Next week. Next week.
Next week, before our next board meeting?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of returning staff, quality people did good jobs, they were evaluated. So definitely, not definitely, most likely by the April board meeting will be done.
And I do believe that we're all on the same page because it's our district policy on nepotism that anyone who's related to anybody on the board or you or any manager that will actually talk about that and get approval first with our next board meeting.
Usually we do it in May, but we can't.
Well, if I understood right, the decision on, and understanding of who's going to be hired, the applicants will know next week.
Most likely, like I said.
So I'm assuming then, at our next board meeting, we can actually talk about that. And I would just formally like to ask, Mr. Chair, that that be on our agenda next board meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
And moving on to Natalie, do you want to go first, or you want Jerry to go first?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Jerry can do it.
All right. Jerry, it looks like a small.
Trying to point the numbers, aren't you? Yeah, it should be a quick report.
Yeah.
And it's typical of this time of year, our financial issues are very simple this time of year. You've got the typical monthly reports through February 28th. Overall, the general fund actual appropriations are within 1% of the budget expectations. You've got some categories over and some categories under. For example, salary, wages, and benefits are running about 3% ahead of plan. Service and administration are 4 to 6% over plan, but repairs and maintenance are running well below plan at 83% of budget. I'm sorry, they're running over at 83% versus the 63. It's the capital outlays that are really low. Overall, the budget looks good on the capital fund, the recreation fund. The appropriations are running 8% below the plan, which would be typical because our seasonally heavy time of year is more in the summer months. And our capital outlays there have not yet occurred for the year too. So our kind of ongoing operational expenses are out where they should be. Our flexible items, our capital outlays, our projects yet to come, and it's always kind of subject to our not having had surprises up to this point in the year that we can accommodate them, and it looks like we're in really good shape for those projects. From a cash flow perspective, on the statement of revenue and appropriations, the year-to-date total revenue exceeds appropriations by about $100,000, $500. That's up from about $46,000 last month. That was mainly because of the program revenue that was good and healthy the prior month continued into February. Also, tax revenue for the 2018 tax year began to arrive as residents began paying their first installment tax bills. That brought in approximately $80,000 of the month's revenue. March should be a continuation of the January-February trend, especially due to the tax receipts, probably less so due to programs. And as we head into April, May, and June, revenue will start to stall out, but our appropriations will start to increase, so that positive picture will decline a bit. The plan calls for us ending the year at about a surplus of $19,500, which is roughly the 3% increase the county adds for last tax revenue. However, that plan did not anticipate we'd be getting the $65,000 gift for plants and shrubbery. So if you adjust for that, we would be aiming to have a surplus of about $84,000 to end the year. Net program revenue is running at about $116,000 compared to the budget plan of $113,000. So we look really good, like we've at this point made the full budget year, but an undetermined amount, probably in the ballpark $20,000 or so, $24,000, is likely to be reversed from the revenue number because that's money that's going to be paid out to our partnership programs, to the partnership vendors, for example, cardboard camps, for their portion of the program receipts. So we'll still be looking for some more program revenue to make the budget number there. On the balance sheet and the general ledger trial balance, the highlight there is that our cash balances increased from $173,000 to $226,000 over the last month. On the outstanding items report, it's about as perfect as that report's ever going to get. It's a wonderful thing. There's only a couple stale items needing attention on the report. Jessica is on top of them, so shouldn't be any issues with that report. Not in my report, because it came after this was created, we got notification from Cook County that there are 2 problems with our levy ordinance passed in December. This has never happened to us before. I've got Charlie involved. 2 small typos, basically, is what it came down to. In the corporate fund, the office supply expense was misstated by $500. And in the recreation fund, program revenue was misstated by $500. Didn't change any of the overall totals or the taxing amounts, just the supporting details didn't add up. And the county caught it up our attention. We're going through a correction process now, so that's there. And kind of off the financials, I just thought I would share with the board, it's unfortunately late in the process for the upcoming park improvements, but I had shared with me an article from Grand Rapids, Minnesota, I think it is, newspaper, showing a wheelchair handicap accessible swing for parks. It was a really cool thing, and somebody passed that to me suggesting as we do park improvements, we might consider including equipment like that as a part of it. So I'll pass that around and then maybe we can plan for our next project to include.
Wow.
I'm done.
Mr. Chair, could I ask a question?
Sure.
Jerry, thank you. For those who are new in the audience from our community, I just want to brag on you for just 2 seconds. This year, your numbers for our financial budget and our audit that's independently done every year. Am I wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong. But those numbers matched to the penny. And that's not heard of. That's very unusual.
It made it a lot easier.
And I just wanted to give you a shout out because I think because of the work that we've done as a board to help our, our treasurer, you've been able to put in policy and procedures that give us solid numbers, that we know what we're working with, and we understand them. Not as well as you, but better. And the second thing I want to say is, if I heard you correctly with the county calling you, that's a good thing that someone in the county is actually looking at our levy and came up with some internal adjustments to the tune of about $1,000, and it's all to be rectified. And I think that's good news for the taxpayer.
Yeah. That's kind of just their standard process. That's what they're doing between December and when in April, we'll get what's called the preliminary levy edit report that has to be verified. And then the final levy report will come out in June. And then that drives the generation of the tax bills that go out for the August payment. So we just have never, it's a good thing that there's somebody there doing it. It's a bad thing to have a mistake that, and thankfully it was a really minor one. We really, with all the eyes we had looking at that, we should have caught that ourselves. That shouldn't have got out the door from us.
Well, Jerry, I just want to echo what Dan said. That's that you do a great job, and thank you for helping us understand and making things simple for us. Thank you. Thank you. Moving on to Natalie.
All right. This month we are celebrating Women's History Month. The Ridgeville Readers is reading Red Clocks by Lenny Zumas, and the discussion date is going to be March 31st. I just started the book this week. It's super great. I encourage everyone to read it and join us for that discussion. You can also take a look at our celebration board that's on our website for lots of local events that are pertaining to women's history. Winter session wrap-up. The last week of the winter class session is March 17th through the 23rd. Classes were mostly extended for a week due to cancellations for weather earlier in the session. The spring session begins March 31st, the week after our spring break camp, and so far so good. Registration is really strong. Garden to Table has begun. This year it's being led by Sandra Madison, and
I had in my notes that I wanted to say that I think Ridgeville Park District maintenance is the best. I don't know how you do it for the money you have, but it is the best. It's neat and tidy, and those cans are always empty. And if they're not, all you have to do is make a call, boom.
Thank you.
I don't know where you put the stuff, but it's gone.
Thank you. And we, after Malika, Karen, you can speak. Can you sign in? Did you sign in?
I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
My question is, what does racism, I would like to hear from everybody on the board. What does racism look like to you?
So Malika, just so you'll know, for citizen comments here,
Yeah.
it's just for citizens to speak and we don't respond.
Okay. Well,
right.
I will say this. I was told to do my homework. I did go out and talk to residents. And it was residents that said, Caucasian mothers, Caucasian parents, that said there are black children in the Ridgeville summer camps, and it's all white children. Like one black child to that. And I found it interesting, the woman who's in charge of the staffing, she didn't know the number. She was maybe 4 or 5, but then he knew the exact number, 14. She wasn't sure. That spoke volumes. That spoke volumes. These aren't words coming from me. These are words coming from parents that I've spoken to. That black children are not included in Ridgeville. And that's all I have to say. And that there's no water in the parks. Crickets.
This isn't an any.
Thanks for your comment.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
thank you. One more?
Yeah, so
Citizen
I
comments?
just have
You
a
signed in?
question. I did.
Okay, thank you.
Trust me. I just have a question. Brian, and I could be completely wrong about this, and it may be that a building this size is different than a traditional home in Evanston, but I think our city code allows for 3 layers of roof before a tear-off is required, or at least 2. And does it make sense to save that little bit of money, that $6,000, to put another layer on?
In my opinion, and the roofer's opinion, no, because the shingles are
Because the
cupping.
cupping isn't
Yeah.
bad enough.
And then you're gonna put a shingle over it, it's gonna cup much quicker.
Just curious.
And Karen, if I might add, I've done roofing in Evanston. This is part of what I like to do for fun. I'll do it for free for people. I just have summers off as an educator. But I love being on the roof, looking at the sky.
So Dan, so we're not going back and forth.
Okay.
So let me hold that comment. But thank you. Were there any more citizen comments? Okay,
I
thank
make
you.
a motion to adjourn the meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.